Toys R Us shoppers clear the racks at the Art and Way store in Sacramento during a liquidation sale, before closing their doors permanently, June 28, 2018. Many mourn the loss of a chain that, for some, carries the nostalgic weight of childhood. Today marked a very sad occasion for toy lovers all over the country as Toys R Us officially closed its doors. Most of the toy retailer's U.S. locations, including Arden Fair Mall, Elk Grove's Bond Road store, which is set to become a Scandinavian Designs furniture location, and other local sites, ended the day by selling off the remaining inventory, shelves and pretty much everything that wasn't bolted down. The company announced back in March that it would close all 800 of its U.S. stores, including 10 in Sacramento. Twitter users all over the nation shared their sadness for the loss of the place where kids once declared they didn't want to grow up. Photo of Jeffrey the giraffe leaving an empty Toys R Us store goes viral. Toys R Us mascot Jeffrey the giraffe has packed up his suitcase presumably full of toys and left his toy kingdom for good. A heartbreaking photo of Jeffrey is circulating one day before Toys R Us closes its remaining stores. The photo shows the giraffe in an empty Toys R Us, holding a suitcase and waving goodbye. The photo was taken by Renee Joan-Pierre, who appears to work at a Toys R Us. Joan-Pierre posted several other sad photos of the empty store on Facebook. She shared photos of empty shelves, vacant shopping carts and a group of employees locking the doors of the soon-to-be shuttered store. "My heart is breaking," Joan-Pierre wrote with a photo of the store's sale signs. She has also shared nostalgic Toys R Us commercials from the 80s and 90s to commemorate the end of the company. Her photo of Jeffrey the giraffe leaving got the most attention, receiving nearly 300,000 shares on Facebook. The image captures the end of an era and sadness many people feel watching their favorite toy store close forever. Many kids grew up watching Jeffrey the giraffe in TV commercials. The iconic jingle "I don't want to grow up, I'm a Toys R Us kid" was ingrained in many people's minds. The store has made many countless people's faces light up over the past 70 years. Toys R Us closing remaining U.S. stores Friday. The end is finally here for Toys R Us stores in the United States. The toy retailer will close its remaining 200 stores on Friday. Toys R Us filed for bankruptcy in September in hopes of turning around. But terrible Christmas sales left it on life support. The chain had 735 U.S. stores when it announced plans to go out of business in March. The 70-year-old company will continue in some other countries, such as Canada. In addition to competition from big box retailers and online rivals like Amazon, Toys R Us was doomed by an unsustainable debt load that came in the wake of being taken private by KKR, Bain Capital and real estate firm Vornado in 2005. Employees now say they are planning to fight the company because it isn't paying severance to its workers. The 31,000 U.S. workers received only 60 days' notice as required by federal law. At the store in Boynton Beach, employees hung signs saying Toys R Us employees deserve severance pay, and Bain Capital, KKR, Vornado Realty, Toys R Us, employees want their dinero, money, cash flow. The main reason employees are upset is because, while they are getting nothing. However, executives were paid millions in bonuses right before filing for bankruptcy. Madeline Garcia, who has been with the company for 30 years, told the Palm Beach Post that employees deserve something since they have given up time with their families on holidays and because they are the true foundation of the company. "We get customers who come in and give us hugs," said Garcia. Shoppers will find deep discounts but little in the way of merchandise on the shelves of the remaining stores. Garcia said her store is mostly vacant. She said she has about 45 staffers still on the job, some who moved over from other stores that have already closed. She has yet to find a new job herself. "I'm hopeful I'll find something, along with the rest of the team," said Garcia. "But it's hard to look for a job and go on interviews when you're trying to close your store." Some of the stores now open won't make it all the way to Friday's deadline. For example, Garcia's store will close Thursday. The toy industry will face a drop in sales from the chain's closing. Big box retailers such as Walmart and Target had already surpassed Toys R Us in total toy sales, but the chain was an important place for toy makers to sell their full line of products. Both Hasbro and Mattel reported lost sales of tens of millions each in the first quarter because of the Toys R Us closings, according to the companies. Toys R Us said it is in the process of trying to find new tenants for its stores. On Monday, Party City announced it would use 50 of the locations for its seasonal pop-up stores and expand from its traditional Halloween City stores to offer Toy City stores that will stay open through the holiday season this year. But those locations will be only temporary rentals, and Party City does not anticipate using any of them permanently, Dan Sullivan, Party City's CFO, told Kimoni. As Toys R Us nears its end, fans of the store are lamenting its demise. The retailer filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection in September and officially filed for liquidation in March. As a result, more than 700 Toys R Us and Babies R Us stores across the United States will be closing for good by Friday, June 29. The store has been saddled with debt since a leveraged buyout in 2005 and struggled to keep up with competitors. Though many Toys R Us fans were aware of this, they're still heartbroken to see it go. In 1948 in Washington, D.C., Charles Lazarus opened a baby furniture store that would become the first Toys R Us, after expanding into toys in 1957. In the 1990s, Toys R Us was the biggest toy seller in the U.S., expanding rapidly as it pushed out smaller chains. But by 1998, things had changed, and Walmart began selling more toys than Toys R Us in the U.S., a signal of more trouble ahead. Take a look back at what Toys R Us was like in its heyday. As Toys R Us prepares to close its doors for good, fans are lamenting the death of the chain and looking back on their favorite childhood memories. This is what a store in New Jersey looked like in 1996. It had everything a kid could want. This photo from 2001 shows the Imaginarium section of a New Jersey store. It had seemingly endless aisles lined with dolls, toys, and bikes. It was the perfect place to test them before buying. The Toys R Us Big Toy Book was filled with ads for toys like G.I. Joe or the Nintendo 64. They could all be purchased with Jeffrey dollars, the equivalent of store credit or gift card. Jeffrey dollars were named after the spokesanimal of the store, Jeffrey the giraffe. Parents are having a hard time telling their kids that their favorite store is closing. Some reference the memorable song heard in early Toys R Us commercials. The end of Toys R Us has fans wishing it weren't true. The end of Toys R Us is the end of an era. Early Thursday, the company filed a motion to liquidate its business, meaning it will close or sell its remaining 735 U.S. stores. It had filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection in September. The debate over who and what killed Toys R Us is now raging among analysts, company executives, and shoppers lamenting the chain's death. Toys R Us was once king of the toy castle. In the 1990s, it was the biggest toy seller in the US, expanding rapidly as it pushed out smaller chains. But by 1998, things had changed, and Walmart began selling more toys than Toys R Us in the US, a signal of more trouble ahead.